I often get asked about long tones and what is the deal with long tones? What should you do? How should you practice them? To be honest, you should just play some long notes. It's not really any more complicated than that. But there are a few variations that I tend to do. First of all, I'll go through my process of what I would do to play long tones, and I pretty much do the same thing every single practice session. So I spend 5 minutes exactly on it. I use my timer on my phone, which also has a metronome in it. I place the beat at 60 beats per minute. It just kind of adds a little bit of extra depth, so I can kind of, you know, kill two birds with one stone sort of thing, of listening to the beat and trying to let that internalize that metronome. But also it counts down 5 minutes, and as soon as I finish the 5 minutes, then that's it, I'm just done. Even if I'm in the middle of a long note, I will just stop it and just move on to something else. So I find that really works for me. It means that I can just set it and forget about things and just, you know, use up the 5 minutes and then just move on to something else. I also find that it really focuses my attention on what I'm actually about to do. So I kind of use it as almost like a meditation of just sort of allowing myself to check through certain elements of the note. So not necessarily judge it as in sort of good or bad, but just try to be aware of what's happening and listen and do almost like this checklist through my mind of, is my embouchure relaxed? Am I breathing properly? Am I actually playing a stabilized note? What's the dynamic of the note? All those sorts of things, perhaps the tone quality, I will listen for. Anyway, so as well as being present and just being aware of what's happening, I do some variations to long notes. So sometimes I'll just play a middle register note, a low register note, and a high register note, and kind of just keep going with that. So and play that for some length, and then play a long low note, and then play a high note. I'm listening for the intonation there. I noticed that top note was sort of wobbling a little bit, so I was trying to stabilize that. If I was, you know, playing that for a length of time, I'd put a lot more work on that. So that's one variation that I use. Sometimes I will just stay in the top register because I'm focusing on, you know, improving my sound up at the top. So I'll just play all those hard palm keys and trying to play, you know, top Ds and E's and F's and F sharps and maybe even altissimo sometimes as well, just to kind of improve my top register and the tone quality of that. Sometimes I'll work on very soft kind of subtone low notes. So almost like trying to find the very faintest start or beginning of the note. Let's see if I can do one of these. So I don't know if you picked that up on the recording, but there's a lot of breath noise there, and then all of a sudden the note, so I'm fingering low B flat for this, all of a sudden the note starts to appear, and I'm trying to hold that and sustain just the beginning of the note. So I'm thinking of it like the biting point of a clutch pedal. So just holding that very initial note and then not allowing it to become a proper present note. The other one that I love to do, and I've got this advice from Bob Reynolds. If you haven't checked out Bob Reynolds, you should definitely go on his site and sign up to his YouTube and all of that sort of stuff. Fantastic musician and teacher. He suggests playing an overtone of C. So instead of playing middle C with your middle finger on your left hand, you're playing a low C, but overblowing it to produce the C that you would get if you were playing that fingering. So here's the normal C with the normal fingering. Here's a low C, and here's the overblown or overtone C. Now for some reason I love playing this for 5 minutes. It's just one note. It kind of gives you a nice open throat feeling. It encourages you to do all the right things with your embouchure. You get that sort of nice split of the notes, so you can kind of explore the areas of all that sort of breath control and tongue position and mouth cavity, size, and all of those sorts of things that you can get really nerdy about. It's just a good tone exercise, and also it just removes all of that want of moving around. So you're just playing one note for 5 minutes, you're not tempted to play, oh, let's do an overtone B flat or a B, or just stay on one note and just listen to it. The last thing is overtones, and this is something I do quite a lot as well. I'm trying to sustain them as long as possible, so I've done another video on this of playing a play-along video for overtones. But it's basically where you finger a low B flat in this case, it can be others as well, but you're trying to create the harmonic series of playing the overtones of B flat. So it will jump up an octave, and then another fifth, and then a fourth, and the intervals will get gradually smaller and smaller. So here's a sort of fast forward version of what I would do. So there's the low B flat, the fundamental. I'm going to get the first overtone, second overtone, okay, that's about as far as I can go today. So there you have it, just long tones. There are some variations that I use, but basically I just play 5 minutes. I put my timer on. I just spend the 5 minutes just playing long tones with a couple of variations, maybe some overtones, some different note selections. But just do it, and honestly it will improve your sound, and it shouldn't really be any more complicated than that.